is 8:17. The trial of Sean Diddy Combs enters its third week today after about a dozen people took the stand. I'm here this morning with Jessica Lettingham, a criminal defense attorney. Jess, thank you so much for joining us once again on this. Many legal experts like yourself and even some watchers and our viewers that I've spoken with, they say, okay, at this point we understand he abused Cassie, but they don't particularly understand if the prosecution has proven that he's guilty of racketeering, conspiracy, as well as sex trafficking. So can you break down those charges and what you saw and heard that speak to those specifically?
Yeah, let's first start with the conspiracy charge and the racketeering, because that's something we actually saw testimony for. In order for the prosecution to prove the racketeering charge, they have to prove that there were two predicate offenses. So what does that mean? They have to prove the sex trafficking, and they also have to prove something else, which in this case is arson. That is why the testimony from Kid Cudi last week was so essential, because Kid Cudi said, I think Diddy firebombed my car. You don't get any more proof than that. The issue is it's all circumstantial evidence. There's nothing tying it. So I don't know if we're gonna get to the racketeering. I haven't seen them close the loop yet.
What about the whole concept of a criminal enterprise that aided Diddy in some of these things? Did you see any evidence of that?
I actually think they missed their mark by not bringing in Suge Knight to testify, because the evidence we did see was we heard from his assistant, Suge Knight is at a diner, they all got their guns and said, let's go down and roll up on Suge Knight. Suge Knight is another record label, another criminal organization. So if we were able to prove these rival criminal organizations, so hopefully, if they do want to prove the criminal organization, they need to bring in more evidence, such as Suge Knight.
We did hear from Sheree, a couple of exotic dancers, but this one in particular. She had said that she had been involved with Cassie and Diddy more than a dozen times, and each time in these so-called freak-offs, it seemed consensual for Cassie. Do you think her testimony moved the needle at all in Diddy's direction?
I think, of course, it moved the needle in Diddy's direction. In order for us to see the sex trafficking charge, for the prosecution to get it, they are going to have to prove there was force and coercion. We're going to have to see someone else other than Cassie. The Jane Does, one of them is a former employee. That could get them there. But right now, when we only have this one witness, Cassie, who, of course, testified first because she was pregnant and could have her baby any day now, not because of strategy, which is also very confusing, because we started with sex trafficking and then we came in now to the firebombing, so they're all over the place.
Yeah, and that first witness expected, at least today, is Capricorn Clark, a former assistant to Diddy. Thank you so much, Jess. I wish we had more time, but I'm sure you'll be back as we continue to follow this developing case.